6. Eagle Eye has done a great job.
Welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Beauman Ivester.
And I'm Estes. Thank you for joining us. Today marks the one-year anniversary since the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war. Despite the war being overseas, U.S. involvement has sparked Auburn students to speak on the subject. Eagle Eye's Sydney Babb reports live from Toomer Square.
Yesterday evening, an Auburn Students for Palestine group came and held an art takeover here at Toomer's Corner. After the demonstration turned violent, Auburn campus police and safety asked students to leave, and facilities cleared away all of the chalk drawings. Tonight, they'll be back here for a memorial to hold in honor for all of the lives lost in the last year. Yesterday, a small group of students gathered for what they call an art takeover on Toomer's Corner, doing chalk drawings and writing phrases in support of Palestine in the Israel-Hamas war. Things took a turn after an unnamed individual physically attacked protester Stephen McGentry before running away. Auburn University Facilities Management washed the drawings and chalk away later on. All day today into the evening, campus security has been stationed at Toomer's Corner. Students plan to return this evening to hold a memorial in remembrance of the lives lost since the war began 1 year ago today. Auburn campus security continues to have a presence here at Toomer's Corner. We'll have more details to come. Sydney Babb, Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
From the loveliest village to the Paralympic Village, Auburn wheelchair basketball heads coach Rob Taylor recently returned to Plains after a historic gold win as head coach of USA's men's wheelchair basketball.
On Saturday, September 7th at Bercy Arena in Paris,
when you're out here, this is where you need to stay. We're not zoning up and protecting the ball.
Final against Great Britain, besting the Brits 73-69 to secure the team's third consecutive gold medal. They're the first team in Paralympic history to do so.
Paris was unbelievable. The Paralympic Games were great. When you look back at Tokyo 4 years ago, we went there and there were no fans in the stands. So now we're playing in front of 12,000 people plus each game. It was just an incredible experience. And winning a gold, was a great way to top it off. I was in Beijing in 2008, I was in Rio in 2016, I was in Tokyo in 2020, and to me the Paris Games were by far the best so far. There was a whole lot of media attention around the Paralympic Games, which is something we haven't seen yet, and hopefully that continues leading to LA. Being able to coach the team here at Auburn, it's great. Trying to see the guys that have the aspirations to make the U.S. team and understanding what it takes to get there and working with them to help them achieve those dreams. And we've had a few guys that have made the under 23 team 3 or 4 years ago. We've had 1 or 2 student athletes that have made the senior team. But I look forward to the day where a majority of the guys on the U.S. team have Auburn roots and have graduated from Auburn and have had success post-Auburn.
The fight to end hunger and beat Alabama has officially kicked off on the Plains. Last week, Auburn University's Beat Bama Food Drive began their 7-week fundraising efforts to raise money for the food bank of East Alabama. The food bank and unite the community to fundraise.
Our goals for this season are really to spread awareness across this campus about food insecurity and just to have the entire Auburn family come behind this cause and unite. At the end of the day, we just really want to unite and serve the food bank all together as an Auburn family.
Anyone who wants to get involved and learn more about Beat Bama Food Drive can talk with a member on the concourse or follow them on their social media pages to learn more about their event.
Last Tuesday, Auburn's Office of Sustainability hosted an electric vehicle showcase with the hope of educating people on the benefits of electric cars. The event was sponsored by the Alabama Fuels Coalition and aimed to highlight electric car owners in the area.
Eagle Eye's Brett Fouts spoke to the president of the coalition and brings us more on this event.
I'm here at the Electric Vehicle Showcase at the Jay and Susie Gouge Performance Arts Center being put on by the Auburn Office of Sustainability to highlight electric vehicle owners in the area and educate citizens on the benefits of electric vehicles. Sponsored by the Alabama Clean Fuels Coalition, the Electric Vehicle Showcase was an educational event that served as an opportunity for electric vehicle owners to educate other people about electric vehicle ownership.
One of the biggest reasons I wanted to get the Tesla specifically was for the full self-driving capability. Additionally, when I got it a few years ago, the first one a few years ago, a big driver was gas prices were going up, right? And I thought this would help alleviate that, and it has. I can barely notice a difference in my electric bill at my house, so I think it's served its purpose, and I hope one day the full self-driving capability will be there to where it can take me to work while I take a nap.
The Alabama Clean Fuels Coalition is a nonprofit organization focused on advocating for alternative fuels. We spoke to the president, Michael Staley, about why someone should get an electric vehicle over a gas car.
Well, to me, I think EVs are more fun to drive than gas cars. You can save money on fuel. You are reducing your emissions, which is important. So to me, EVs, it's not all about like environment or emissions. They're fun. They're practical. And if you ask my 4-year-old son, he says they're fast. And so the experience of driving an EV is just so much better.
We even spoke to his 4-year-old son, Ryan, about his opinion on electric vehicles.
Alabama!
The event capped the night off with a synchronized light show set to the tune of The Carol of the Bells. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Brett Fouts.
Thank you, Brett. Auburn University's Native American and Indigenous Alliance transformed Cater Lawn into a vibrant celebration of the cultures to mark the first 56 days of the semester.
Students, faculty, members gathered to experience live performance, educational lectures, and interactive exhibits that showcase the rich traditions and diverse heritage of.
One of the event's most impactful moments was a powerful lecture delivered by Danielle Fixico, a scholar, artist, and advocate of Muskogee, Sioux, Choctaw, and Chickasaw descent. She spoke on the ongoing crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women, a widespread issue affecting Native communities across North America.
Indigenous women are 10 times more likely to go murdered or be missing within their lifetime. And another way to kind of visualize that is that 3 out of every 5 Native women will face violence within her lifetime.
Drawing from her academic background and personal heritage, Fixico shared emotional stories and loss in crisis. Through her art and words, she honored the memories of brilliance.
The celebration continued with a live performance by the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. Their traditional dance, accompanied by ceremonial drums, honored Choctaw heritage, providing a moving display of the community's pride and identity.
This past Wednesday, Auburn journalism students were given the unique opportunity to attend panel discussions led by professional journalists from all across the nation, some of whom were Auburn alumni. This event allowed students to not only skip class with excused absence, but also gain fascinating insight into journalism and its branches. Eagle Eye's Albert Osorio reports.
Last Wednesday, the most exciting day for journalism students came to the Plains, Journalism Day. The Melton Student Center hosted panel discussions while journalists from all over the country talked to students about their experiences and gave them advice and tips on how to become better journalists. Speakers like Eduardo Medina from the New York Times spent time with students to chat about their stories and spread some wisdom. The students were locked in and asked the speakers questions after their speeches as well. It was a good day for those future journalists to learn from the experts and plan their future.
I think our job as reporters is just to contextualize that information and to keep things honest with folks and readers and give them information that cuts through the spin from some of these politicians, right? And you know, when you get criticism from that, from certain kinds of readers, you know, you can't. Your job as a journalist is not to please everyone. You're not a people pleaser as a journalist. I mean, you're there to do your job and to write what is happening and to cut through the BS. And sometimes you get criticism, but that's not a reflection of your work, I think.
This has been Albert Osorio for Eagle Eye TV.
Thanks, Albert. When we come back, you'll get an update of the weekly weather outlook from Kinsley Davis. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Today marks the one-year anniversary of the Hamas attack. Memorial is planned Sunday night at the
ceasefire are still underway, but there have been no new developments.
Only a week after Hurricane Milton was on its way. Yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency. Residents prepare for worse. WKMG reporter Emily McLeod, Scoop, Orlando.
Sandbag sites in Seminole County were open on Sunday. In Winter Springs, Nate Dorr says they're taking extra steps this time around.
We got kind of damaged Hurricane Ian, so just make sure that we get a little bit more cautious, making sure all the sandbags are at our doorstep garage, and you know that's the most preparation we're gonna do.
Mallory Newhouse was also at Central Winds Park on Sunday preparing for Milton's arrival.
So even just with a little bit of rain, our windows kind of flood a little bit. So we're just preparing for the worst, especially because it was like a Cat 2 yesterday, I think, in the morning, and then it was a Cat 3. So living in Florida all my life, everything changes really quickly. So got to be prepared.
And over in Altamont Springs, people were picking up sandbags at Eastmont Park. Liam was out helping his mom on Sunday and says picking up extra groceries is also on their storm prep checklist.
I think we're just going to put sandbags in our back porch because it's going to flood anyways, but we're just doing it to help out our grandma. But we're going to get like groceries later and stuff in case it's really bad.
John Horton Rutledge says they've never done sandbags until they realized their backyard floods.
So now we are going to prepare, and then we get our mother also. Our mother-in-law is going to go down and fill her up too.
Thanks, Emily. As the East Coast is getting hit with winds and waters, the West Coast is battling fire. In California, the Glen residents to evacuate. On Friday, the wildfire had burned 400 acres of the according to Cal Fire, fire started on the hillside and is turning up.
When we return, you'll get an Auburn sports update from Ethan Clements. You're watching Eagle Eye News at
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Ethan Clements, back to give you a recap on all the big stories that occurred in Auburn sports last week, right here on the Plains. Let's get right into it. Auburn football went on the road to Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, to take on the 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs for the Tigers' 3rd SEC matchup on the 2024 season. The Tiger offense was led by senior quarterback Peyton Thorne, who threw for 200 yards with 16 completions on the 27 attempts. Senior running back Jarquez Hunter rushed for 91 yards, recording Auburn's only touchdown for the afternoon. Auburn's freshman kicker Towns Magoo recorded 2 field goals to go 2 for 3, giving the Tiger offense 6 much-needed points against a dangerous Georgia team. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck threw for 240 yards with 2 touchdowns, completed 23 of his 29 throws. Georgia's Trevor Etienne recorded 2 rushing touchdowns, with Dominic Lovett and Dylan Bell both finding the end zone, with each recording 1 touchdown apiece. Final score for Athens is Georgia 31 and Auburn 13. Tigers dropped to 2-4 on the 2024 season, and Auburn will travel to Columbia, Missouri to take on Mizzou this Saturday as Coach Freeze and the Tigers look to get back into the win column. The 16th-ranked Auburn women's soccer traveled to Baton Rouge to kick off against LSU for conference play. The Tiger offense recorded 4 total goals from Carly Thatcher, Mallory Mooney, LJ Knox, and Olivia Woodson. Auburn goalkeeper Maddie Prohaska played lockdown defense with 1 save to seal the shutout against LSU. Final score for Baton Rouge is Auburn 4 and LSU 0. Auburn improves to 11-1-1 on the season. The Lady Tigers will take on the Alabama Crimson Tide on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time for Socktoberfest right here at the Auburn Soccer Complex. Moving on to women's volleyball, the 20 takes the victory over Georgia with a score of 3-1. The Lady Tigers also faced off against the Texas A&M Aggies on Sunday in Neville Arena for their second SEC matchup of the week. Once again, the Auburn offense got it going with who other than outside hitter Madison Shear and Lauren Dreves. Shear recorded 13 kills and 4 blocks. Meanwhile, Lauren Dreves totaled 10 kills and 13 digs as she completed the double-double. Pin hitters Lauren Dreves and Belle Zimmerman both recorded 10 kills apiece. Auburn middle blocker Chelsea McCurdy bolstered the Tiger defense with 9 blocks. Even with a strong presence from Auburn and Dreves' double-double, the Tigers fell short to the Aggies with a final score of 3-1 in their first SEC loss of the season. After this past week, Auburn volleyball's record stands at 13-2. The Lady Tigers will take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs on Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time in Starkville for conference play. And that is all I have for you tonight. When we come back, I'll get an update on the longshoremen strike and good news for employment in the U.S. I'm Ethan Clements for Eagle Eye Sports, and you are watching Eagle Eye News at 6. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. Closing out our show tonight, we have an update on the recent port workers' strike. East and Gulf Coast ports are in full operation once again following a strike on behalf of port workers. After 3 days of negotiation, the strike formally ended last Friday. The port workers are represented by the International Longshore Association, and their demands for wage increases were over a 6-year plan to raise wages. However, their main focus has been
In today's world, technology has helped efficiently replace workers across all industries. The ILAs have been the opposite of
a major win for the U.S. labor market Friday with the release of the September jobs report. The U.S. economy blowing expectations out of the water, adding over 250,000 jobs.
Lee Waldman is in New York. Break it all down.
After a disappointing jobs report in July and August, September is one to remember.
When workers do well, the economy is stronger, the nation is stronger, and this jobs report is an example of that.
U.S. job growth surged last month. Employers added an estimated 254,000, according to data released Friday by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, much higher than August's monthly total. On top of the jobs added, the unemployment rate dropped from 4.2% to 4.1%. Acting Secretary of Labor Julie Su says this latest jobs report isn't a declaration of victory, but rather a declaration of progress 4 years after the start of the pandemic.
Real wages continue to be up. Inflation rate and the interest rate are going down, and all of this is a sign of a historic and unprecedented economic recovery.
The jobs report comes just weeks after the Federal Reserve decided to cut interest rates by half a percentage point, indicating an elusive soft landing could be reached. Lael Brenner, the White House National Economic Advisor, suggested even with this positive jobs report, another rate cut could be on the horizon.
We are seeing that inflation has come back down and interest rates have been falling. And today we saw the jobs market continues to expand. That's very, very good progress.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
Thanks, Lee.
We are learning about a major security breach affecting some of the country's major telecommunications. Sources tell CNN a suspected group of Chinese government-linked hackers infiltrated several broadband and internet providers such as AT&T, Verizon, and Lumen. Investigators suspect the hackers were likely looking for national security or other sensitive information. Sources say investigators believe the hackers potentially accessed wiretap warrant requests, but the government is still trying to determine what information the hackers may have obtained.
U.S. officials are concerned about the national security damage done by the hack. The security breach was only recently discovered. Companies allegedly targeted have not commented, nor has the Justice Department.
CNN has learned that U.S. officials have briefed the House and Senate Intelligence Committees on the Chinese hacking. Furthermore, cybersecurity experts from Microsoft and Google-owned Mandiant are helping investigate the hacking activity.
We're out of time, but for more Auburn news, head on over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. From Eagle Eye News, I'm Beauman Ivester.
And I'm Alice Estes. Thank you for watching, and War Eagle.